Hi everyone, welcome to the Ostomy and IBD live show. I'm Elaine O'Rourke, your host here every week, and I've been on hiatus for the last little while I was in Ireland for the winter. Now I'm back here in the States and getting back to doing this show. So each week I talk about something different in regards to having an ostomy, whether you have it due to Crohn's disease, cancer, colitis, or any other number of reasons. And also, since my history is more through Crohn's, I also touch on different things with having IBD. So if you're out there and watching, put up a little message or let me know where you're tuning in from, or if you or anyone you know has an ostomy, and let me know where you are in the world as well. I always love to hear from you all. And if you can do me a favor, if you're tuning in on Facebook or on YouTube, if you could subscribe, right? If you're on YouTube, my YouTube, or if you're not, YouTube, you can find me on Elaine O'Rourke, Yoga Ostomy IBD. If you can subscribe and like and even share this video, that would be super. Also, you can find me on Instagram under Ostomy IBD Life. I was hoping to go live there, but I've been having some issues. So I'll put this up on the replay. We'll go up there. And on Facebook, if you could follow me on my Ostomy and IBD Life page, that would be fantastic. And also share the videos, because you never know who in your extended circle might just need to hear this tonight, might be struggling with any disease that might have IBD, that might have an ostomy, because so much of the time people don't share about this, and I didn't share for years. So anyway, I am very excited for tonight because this is my 16th year anniversary of getting my ostomy. Now, I wasn't even meant to have this for more than 6 months, never mind 16 years. So this is something that was never ever planned. Most of the time it really isn't. I didn't even know what an ostomy was probably up until a couple of weeks before my surgery, and I didn't think that I would actually get one until probably 3 days before I actually got one. So it was all a surprise. It was all last minute, but it also helped to save my life. So in the show tonight, I'm going to talk about, some insight 16 years into it, some things that maybe I wish I did differently, and also give some different self-care tips, not the usual ones, but some different ones that hopefully will get you thinking in a different way, and also some easy to implement things to help build with your confidence, whether you're going through any disease right now or whether you have an ostomy or IBD. So that's the sort of game plan for this evening. So again, post up any comments. Each week, different weeks, different guests will be on. And this week you have yours truly, myself, because I'm celebrating 16 years with my ostomy. And really, after I had it a year on a temporary basis, then I went permanently, and was really from once I had my ostomy permanently, then my Crohn's disease all went away. But that first year of having my ostomy was really, really challenging, and I'm going to share about that now in a moment. So as I said, put up any comments. Hopefully I'll be able to see things as they come through. If you're watching this on the replay, also feel free to put up comments or questions. Like and share as much as you can. That would be fantastic. And if you haven't visited my website before, then hop over there. You can grab your free download for people with ostomies. It's 3 ways to eliminate fears about your ostomy. Or if you have IBD, then I have another download, 5 mistakes even well-informed people with IBD make. Okay, so Anita, thank you. Anita's saying you make ostomies cool. Well, thank you. And Anita is going to be my guest next week, but I'll tell you a little bit more about that as we get to the end of the show. So I have so much to share, but I only have so much time this evening. And a lot of this I share in my programs and also when people work with me one-on-one. But firstly, 16 years into having an ostomy. As I said, I didn't even think I was going to have it for 6 months, but I had Crohn's disease and it got extremely dangerously, deathly ill like. And for 3 months, probably from January of 2005 until April 6th, which it is today, I went downhill more and more and more. So much so that I could barely even walk. Luckily, my sister lives just about an hour away and she is also a GI nurse. So I went and lived with her. My mom came over from Ireland. My other sister came over from New Zealand. And so this time 16 years ago, my mom was here with me to help after surgery. Hi, Mom. Thank you. And so, as I said, I got really ill. There was no preparation, and I'm quite squeamish, and getting an ostomy was horrifying. I'm not going to lie. I had a really difficult time accepting it, and it was never meant to be a permanent thing. So even just seeing myself, I could barely look at myself. I was repulsed by it. I couldn't believe what had happened to me. But I had been in so much pain from Crohn's disease. I was a shell of myself. So I didn't have any choice. But I will say it was traumatic, even though at the time I was so sick that I wouldn't have been able to pin a word on it. There was so many emotions going on that I would not have known where to start with even finding labels for anything, because I was completely distraught and really had a hard time. Remember, 16 years ago, there was no social media. Through all the years, I had Crohn's disease for 13 years previous to that. There wasn't that much information out there. There wasn't the overload of information that there is at our fingertips now with the internet. So it was a different time. But I'm going to share a few things looking back that perhaps I wish I had known, or maybe I would have changed, but maybe I wouldn't. Who knows? But at the time, so when I had this last flare up, there was also an awful lot of other things going on in my life. Now, Crohn's disease the causes of Crohn's disease are unknown. There's no cure. But I know that it was nothing to do with diet, nutritional stuff. That was not that never affected my symptoms. It wasn't genetically. No one else in my family has Crohn's disease. It pretty much wasn't environmental. So what was it? Looking back, I'm pretty sure it was more my emotional and mental state of mind that probably played into Crohn's disease. Right, that's my fair estimate and looking back. So one of the things that I wish I had known then is how to handle my emotions, how to be myself. Now, that might sound crazy, but I didn't know how to handle myself. I didn't have that many tools. Since then, I've learned so much through yoga, through all of the trainings I've taken, through emotional freedom technique. I have really transformed how I see myself, how I operate. Within my belief systems, I have cleared so much energy that I feel like a different person now, thankfully, and I think I'm a much better version of myself. Back when I had that last flare up, I know there was other stuff going on in my life. I now know there was a lot of deception going on. There was a lot of lies going on, a lot of things that I wasn't aware of, although intuitively I was, but I didn't follow through on my intuition. So a part of me feels, with all this insight, that I wish I'd been braver to delve into the what was going on in my life, really what was going on in my life, and to be able to have the courage to examine the emotions and where they are coming from. That is something that has helped me so much over these years, more than anything else. Physically, I've always been physically, even though I had this terrible disease, I've always, I eat pretty well. Yes, in my early youthful days, I definitely drank too much alcohol. I wish I could rewind that, but at the time, that was my choice. So that is another thing, 50-50 hindsight, that I wish I had rested more. There's a big difference between rest and being lazy. But I mean, I actually wish I had rested more and that I didn't feel like I had to keep up with everyone. And that was something that was just on me. No one else was saying, hey, Elaine, come on, why aren't you coming out? That was on myself. So looking back, I wish I had rested and really taken care of my mental and emotional self and taken that time earlier in life to have gotten to know myself. What else? There was also, my family will agree with this. I also have a bit of a stubborn nature, and at times that is not helpful. Most of the time, it's not really that helpful. And I was also a very independent person, which is great, but that also maybe didn't need to be so independent and being able to ask for help a little easier. So there are some things that I wish I had been able to change a bit more. And there's a ton of other things as well. So hopefully some of this is resonating with some of you, because I truly do believe that our mental and emotional health affect our physical health. Everything goes hand in hand, and it takes a lot to be brave enough to really delve into it. And that's what I now work at doing, and it's really fascinating and very, very informative. Now, it's really hard to pinpoint all of this. Some of the things in regards to self-care, and just as a reminder, if you're watching this, if you're checking in, feel free to put up any comments. Oh, hi, Jacqueline. Jacqueline says you were brave and so strong. Well, you know what? I'm brave now. I certainly am. I'm not sure how brave I was back then. And, all of these years later, here's an interesting thing. I feel so much stronger in myself and in my body, like everything. Now I just feel so strong compared to when I was in my 20s, 30s, even in my 40s. Oh, what does that tell us? I'm going to stop there. But I feel friggin' amazing. And it's when we work at clearing all the crap and the bullshit out of our lives that we can really see clearer and really be in our healthiest manifestations of ourselves. And that's why I'm so happy to be on here tonight, 16 years into having an ostomy, and I feel better than ever. And once I got my ostomy, once I got it permanently, that is when my health began to improve a lot more also. Self-care. Mind. Yeah, thank you, Anita, saying the mind gut connection is a fact. And it is. I mean, this is the amazing thing, right? We're getting all the science behind all of these things. We know that our minds, our emotions, our thoughts affect our physical body. If you think about it, if you're driving, right, and you suddenly have to put the brake on really fast, and you feel all that adrenaline running through your body, and you go, oh, you have your little moment of, your heart is going 90, and then things simmer down. Well, sometimes you think things have simmered down, but they may not have, or that little bit of edginess has gotten lodged in your body. So over time, over all these years of time, we can have all of this crazy the adrenaline, all these emotions may not have cleared out fully, and that for some of us may manifest in different ways. We are all here on our own journeys. None of us are on the same journey at all. So, just because something happens to one person doesn't mean that it's going to happen to another. Just because someone has found one way of dealing with something, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for another person. And so it's, it is up to us to take ownership of our health in order to find ways to really help ourselves more and to be more informed. For self-care, so tonight, as I said, I am going to focus a little bit more in on self-care and confidence tips. Now, self-care, and I talk about this even in my programs, self-care might look like, okay, go and get some body work, when we're beyond all of this crazy COVID stuff. But, get enough sleep, eat right, pamper yourself a little bit. That's all great, but I'm going to go in deeper and beyond the usual self-care things. And, I'm a yoga teacher. I do that. I have a ton of self-care things that are awesome, but I just want to give you a few other things to think about when it comes to self-care. So one of them that I was pondering upon is this feeling sometimes when you're sick of you feel guilty. So stop feeling guilty. Please try and stop feeling guilty. So what I mean is that you might feel bad that you're not able to, say, look after your kids in the way that you would want to. You might feel that you're a burden on your family, even though they want to take care of you, but some part of you feels, oh my God, I have to be able to look after myself. So stop feeling like you're a burden, because that's not helping you. You might feel guilty that you're not able to participate in all the usual outings. Not that anyone's really going out at the moment, but in our typical lives, that you're not able to show up in the way that you wish you could. But feeling guilty about it is not helping you. You might feel guilty that you're not fully there for your partner while being sick, but who would be? So give yourself that permission to not feel bad about it and go, you know what, this is my time to look after myself, and there's only so much you can do. There's only so much energy that you have, and if you're going through any disease, you need that energy to try and heal yourself from the inside out, whether that is getting to appointments, whether that is going through cancer treatments, whether that is trying to work with your emotional health, whether that is asking for help. So please try to stop the guilt trip. It's not helping you, and it's not helping anyone else. So that is one of my self-care tips. Another one, and this is in no particular order, is stop comparing yourself if you're comparing yourself. So social media is wonderful. I wouldn't be in front of you if it wasn't available right now. But sometimes there can be an overload of information, or even if you're out just looking at up stuff on the internet. And you might be reading, or you might be watching this going, oh, wow, she's doing really well. How is she doing that? Well, this is 16 years into it. This is my journey. And I didn't do well for a couple of years. I cried every single day. So, that was my journey at the start. But I used to do a lot of comparing myself to other people and going, oh, well, if I was more like them, maybe this would happen, or gosh, I can never get this together, or why isn't this happening? And I'll never be as good as that person. So that is not doing you any good if you're in the comparison role. You are you, right? And you're not like anyone else. And to embrace your uniqueness And if you feel that, oh my God, I've had my, say if you have an ostomy, I've had it for 10 years and I still feel so embarrassed going out in public, well, don't compare yourself to anyone else. This is now your journey to figure that out, but be kind to yourself, because you might have other underlying reasons why it's taken you this long to get to where you are. And then there's help to get. So stop comparing yourself. And it's something that is probably human nature to do that, but most of the time, use the people around you to inspire you, rather than thinking that you have to be exactly like them or at the same place as them. I often feel with support groups and all of that, and there's so much amazing advocacy work being done out there, and there's tremendous help that you can get. But again, with all of that, when you hear amazing stories, sometimes it could make you feel worse about yourself in a strange sort of way. So try not to feed into that, and just use other people as a way to inspire yourself. Or, maybe you'll hear something that they say that just gives you that boost of confidence for the day. Another thing in the self-care department is with stress. And I don't even like that word, because that word encompasses so many different things. And this is also another thing with Crohn's disease, with having IBD, that I know stress had a huge amount to do with my symptoms and flare-ups, and even why Crohn's disease was triggered in the first place. I know pretty much it was I pretty much know what it was. So how to manage all the ripples of life. Right? Some of us are born into having more tools or knowing how to navigate things better. Some of us may not. And so things can become overwhelming. So looking at what is causing you overwhelmness, what is causing you anxiety, what is causing those things under that big label of stress, and looking at even the smaller little things. We have some like massive big, ups and downs that are very obvious triggers, but what are the not so obvious triggers? And that's something that I also work with people to try and get them to understand that a little bit more. So being able to break it down more, how to simplify your life maybe some more. And another things with self-care is it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to seek help. For me, as I said, one of the biggest things with getting through a disease is probably how to manage the emotional roller coaster ride that goes along with it, and being able to know how to really help yourself. So that's, when I work with people, one of my favorite tools is using emotional freedom technique. And I have some videos about that on my YouTube channel. And that's really helpful. Everything, meditation sometimes is good. Sometimes I have found that it doesn't really work. So there's lots of different ways of dealing with ourselves. And funny enough, let me see if I have this little quote. I have it up on my fridge, and I bought the magnet actually twice without realizing that it was already there on my fridge, but apparently I needed to hear this a couple of times. Because for me, my journey has been how to manage myself. There's a reason I've said this before, there's a reason I don't have kids, because it's hard enough figuring myself out and managing myself. And that's what this lifetime is for me. But this quote from the Bhagavad Gita, which is one of the yogic texts, says, yoga is the practice of tolerating the consequences of being yourself. Tolerating the consequences of being yourself. And I interpret that to be figuring out who you are and tolerating the good, the not so good, the things that you don't like about yourself. Well, change them. How can you change them? If you're always looking at the glass half empty, how can you begin to switch that to look at the glass half full? Because these are things that we can change, and these might be some of our belief systems in there. Let me see what else. Let me just check in and see if anyone has any comments. As a reminder, if you're just beginning to tune in, this is my 16th year of having my ostomy. I am in better health each year. It just gets better and better and better. And that is primarily to do with a lot of the work that I've done on myself. And they're all tools that I help my clients with as well. Okay. Oh, Jacqueline, she says, I needed to hear this. Thank you. So glad I hopped online and saw you. Yeah, I'm so glad that you hopped on too. It's amazing. The universe does deliver. Absolutely. And if you have, in upcoming weeks, as I said, I'm going to have different guests on different topics each week. So if there's anything that you'd like me to talk about, then always just send me a message or put a comment up. In regards to confidence builders, little steps, right? Just take little steps. I was terrified especially when I got my ostomy, of going out and about. You wouldn't have known that if you saw me. You probably would have gone, oh wow, she's doing amazing. Most people wouldn't have even known what I've been through. But taking little steps to get back into your life. Now, so this also goes along with the self-care. Because I'd been out of action for quite a while, I knew that I wanted to try and get back working. I've been out of work, so that's a huge stressor, right? Being out of work, not having any money, relying, thankfully, thank you, Mom and Dad, for helping me pay my mortgage there for a while. Like, money is a huge stressor. So figuring those things out can definitely be challenging. But, try to be resourceful. With building my confidence, I tried to get back to work maybe too fast. I tried to do a lot of things too fast, which didn't help my healing process in that first year. For example, I was trying to sell my house a couple of months after surgery. Not the best thing to be doing. Huge stressor. Not the right timing. Out painting, not the right thing to be doing. So that's another bit of that hindsight. I did not need to be doing those things at that time. That did not help my healing. In regards to building confidence, just set little goals for yourself. Try and get back to some of the things that you were doing before. Maybe it's right now, maybe it's going out for a social distance walk, or getting down the beach, or, just doing something by yourself. So whatever it is, just little steps, little goals. Don't go for the huge, big things that you were terrified to do before you got a disease or before you got your ostomy. Put those ones aside. Try and just get back to some normal things that you were doing in your life, pre-illness, pre-ostomy, and try and build up on those little things. Again, I'm just trying to give some kind of more out of the box ways of managing things. And yeah, just set those reasonable goals. All right. For me, getting my confidence back, I was a performer, yoga teacher, so I had to be also in front of people, which helped me a lot with confidence in one way. Although, there was a lot of other things over the years that I have worked on to help build confidence. But sometimes just, forcing yourself into a situation can be helpful. Me getting up on stage probably 2 months post-surgery made me realize oh, no one is actually looking to see where my ostomy is because they don't even know I have an ostomy. So we play a lot of games in our heads. So recognizing the game that you're playing with yourself and see, do you like the rules? And if you don't, change the rules so that you can play nicer with yourself and talk nicely to yourself. All that talk in your head, you know, we all do it. Listen to what you're saying and build up your confidence that way. Say maybe some affirmations or recognize where you are not feeling confident and begin to take those baby steps to work through those fears. Or get some help, right? Reach out to me, start working with someone so that you can begin to eliminate some of these fears. So there's some of my ideas for today that I'm sharing. As I said, 16 years with my ostomy, doing better than ever, doing things that I thought I would never be doing. So we are amazing as human beings as to what we can endure, what we can adapt to. This whole past year has been all about adaptation. So it's amazing how we can change, how we can evolve. Try not to feed into your old stories about yourself and begin to create a new story that feels better. I have, and my life is much happier. I'm a lot more content with myself now. And I find it much easier to accept help and to ask for help. And to be a bit more chill as well. I mean, I always thought of myself as a pretty chill person, but when you look back on things, I was not. I was all over the place, where now I feel a lot more centered. And I think it's because I stopped my judgment game. And when I find myself judging myself or comparing myself to others, I really try to pull myself back and go that and say, no, that is not helping me, and just focus on what I'm able to do. Remember, your journey is your journey. Be inspired by other people. Take what you will from other people's advice, but know that where someone is in their life is never going to be exactly the same place as where you are in your life. We all have our strengths. We all have our areas that we can be improving on, and that's life, right? We're all on a journey. So I'm just going to see if anyone else has any other comments. And again, please share this video up on your different, through your Facebook or YouTube, and you can come back and watch it on the replay or share the replay. So hi, Lenora, great to have you back on here again. So Lenora says, everything you have said is what I'm going through. It hasn't been easy for me. Yeah, it was not easy for me. I will say again, the first year of having my ostomy, when it was still permanent, was a horrendous year, a year that I would like to just erase from my life. There was nothing pretty about it. I cried every single day. I hated how I looked. I was having leaks. I would try a bunch of different products. Finally, I got over the hurdle. And I started, and really I put Crohn, once I had everything removed, then Crohn's disease pretty much disappeared. I'm very, very grateful that I haven't had any symptoms of Crohn's disease since. But, it also took another year of healing afterwards. I still had complications from surgeries. And then it's taken years to really work through a lot of the mental and emotional issues that arise through having my ostomy, which I'm very grateful for, right? It saved my life. I don't think I'd be here if I didn't have my ostomy. If I didn't have my colon removed completely, I'm not quite sure if I would still be walking, because it had gotten so diseased, it was so useless. And, if I had addressed some things earlier on in my life, maybe things would be different. Maybe they wouldn't. Maybe I had to come through this journey to be here talking to you right now and to be on the path that I am on right now. So I'm very grateful for that. And another thing that just came into my head is I am also after all the years of having Crohn's disease, and I never told any of my friends, my family knew, and very, very few friends knew. All of those years of running to the loo all the time, of feeling sick, of being depleted, and now the bathroom habits are way easier. I feel so much better. So, you know, if you do have IBD and ostomy has been suggested, reach out to me if you want to talk, or, you know, get onto some different groups. It is hard to get through the first while, I will admit that. But I think I would prefer to have an ostomy than if I was still going through all the cycles of all the flare-ups. That's exhausting. So I prefer my life now way more, and I'm way healthier now than I ever was when I had Crohn's disease. So anyway, let's see, what other comments do we have here? From Mike, says, thanks to you and others, have learned a lot from you. Oh, well, thank you, Mike. Yeah, I'm just sharing my journey and helping out. And, you know, if you want to, I'll just bring it up here again. If you want to go to my website, it's elainao'rourke.com. I have a free guide, 3 ways to eliminate fears about your ostomy. And also through that, you'll figure out ways, you'll learn ways to get in touch with me if you wanted to work privately with me. And also if you're interested in knowing about my programs. And if you have IBD, then you can download my 5 mistakes even well-informed people make with IBD. So another new thing that I'm adding in is, as of this Thursday, so, you know, I've always been a kind of sporty type. I like keeping my body in shape. I think it's really important to keep our strength in that regards. So as of this Thursday, for the rest of the Thursdays in April, from 9 to 9:15 a.m. East Coast time, USA, I'm doing 15 minutes of yoga, movement, breath. Very gentle movements, suitable for everyone. So, you know, if you're going through cancer at the moment or anything like that, you know, there'll be something there for you to do. So the idea is just to get moving a little bit and to connect into your body, to breathe, so that we can just move some energy. So that's just, it's 15 minutes. So join me on Thursday morning. I'll be here in my yoga room, just be in some comfortable clothing, and of course know what your limitations are. So that's this Thursday. And then in May, I'm going to be starting a 4-week, that will be a paid for yoga series for anyone that wants to do longer yoga classes with me, and more will all be on a Zoom together for that. But this Thursday, check in on Facebook, and it will also be up on YouTube. I've been having issues with Instagram. So if you're watching this on the replay on Instagram, then check out my Facebook page so that you can hopefully get in on these live chats or the live yoga through those modalities. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. If you're watching this on the replay, then put up comments or questions, because I will be checking back in on stuff then. And then next week, Nurse Anita will be back on. We always have a great conversation. She's been my guest a couple of times before. And next week's topic is about dealing with peristomal hernias. So this is always a big thing for people with ostomies. So definitely tune in next week with Nurse Anita, and then we'll take it from there. So next week, I'll be back live at 5 East Coast time. And, you know, keep if you are struggling, reach out to me, or try and find ways to help yourself. Don't compare yourself, right? Your journey is your journey, and honor how you're feeling. And, you know, we're sending you love, and I hope to see you back on here either on Thursday morning or else next Tuesday. All right, let me just double check to see if there's any more comments. All right, you are also welcome. Oh, my sister is saying, thank you, my sister Janine, saying I'm amazing. Well, you are amazing, my sister. You looked after me. She's remembering this day so well, 16 years ago. Well, I have to say don't remember it that much. All I remember is waking up and being absolutely horrified when I first saw my ostomy. That trauma I will never forget. And luckily I have moved beyond it and through it. So, also thank you to my family, my caretakers, all the nurses and doctors who have looked after me over the years. I wouldn't be here without you. And thank you also to everyone else that does great advocacy work. And there's tons of information out there. So thank you, everyone, and be well and enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'll see you next week live at 5.